Good morning, everyone. Hi. So I'm making this video as intro to primary. I've had some requests lately for primary, and I recorded that the other day and realized that for a lot of you, it will feel very foreign. So today we're going to do an intro to primary, which will be still about the same amount of time as a normal class, maybe a little shorter. But we're going to take out the really hard poses and put in some preps that will help us just get into the basics of the poses. So let's start at the top of the mat with feet together, hands together. And we just start to breathe. In the Ashtanga sequence, one thing just follows the next. So it's very convenient for practicing when you're at home alone, when you have no teacher with you, when you're traveling. You don't have to think about what you feel like doing or if you have the energy for a full practice. You just show up on the mat and you take it one pose at a time. Let's exhale the arms by the sides. On your inhale, reach up, look up at the thumbs. Fold forward, exhale. You can bend the knees there if you need to. Inhale to reach the chest forward, halfway up. And step or jump back, chaturanga, exhale. Inhale, top of the foot presses into the floor, chest up. Exhale, downward dog, soles of the feet to the floor. Straight arms, straight legs. If you're relatively new to yoga, this might be a very hard pose. After a few years, it will feel like a resting pose. Keep the arms straight, keep the palms flat. After your exhale, step or jump your feet to your hands. Inhale when you get there. Straight legs, exhale, fold. Rise up, inhale, reach up, look up. Arms to the sides, exhale. So that was one complete sun salute. Let's do another. Inhale, reach up. Fold, exhale. Halfway up, inhale. Step or jump back. Lower to chaturanga, exhale, elbows just by the ribs. Inhale, a little back bend. Exhale, downward dog, that upside down V position. Breathe in here. So these sun salutes are for Ashtanga yoga. There's a lot of different sun salutes for different styles of yoga. Helps us warm up the body and start to integrate the movement with the breath. So that when we get to something more complex, we already have that relationship established. After your exhale, step or jump forward. Inhale at the top. Fold, exhale. Rise up, inhale. Arms by the sides, exhale. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway up. Step or jump, exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Normally we stay here for 5 breaths. Normally we also do 5 of these sun salutes called Surya Namaskar in Sanskrit. Today we're just going to do 3 of this style and 3 of the next style. This was A, we're going to try B when we're finished with this A. So after your exhale, step or jump forward. Inhale to straight legs. Fold, exhale. Rise up, inhale. Arms by the sides, this is Samasthiti position, exhale. Surya Namaskar B, bend the knees, reach up, inhale. Fold as you straighten the legs, exhale. Come halfway up, inhale. Step or jump, Chaturanga, exhale. Inhale to upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Step the right foot between the hands. Lower the back heel. Back foot is at about a 45-degree angle. Reach up. Inhale. On your exhale, place your hands. Step back. Find chaturanga. Inhale to your upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Left foot forward, warrior one. Back heel is angled. Pressing the heel down. Reach your arms up. Exhale, hands to the floor. Step back. Bend the elbows. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. So you might notice that you're a little more out of breath for Surya Namaskar B than you were for Surya Namaskar A. We still just try to pair each movement with a breath. And we use downward dog as a resting pose. If it's not restful, do this instead. This is child's pose on the shin bones. From child's, if you're there, come back into your downward dog. We're going to step or jump forward after the exhale. So we're empty. We can inhale, fill up when we get to the top. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees. Reach up. Inhale. Straight legs. Samasthiti. Bend the knees. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Just on the second round. Inhale, same things as before. Step or jump back, exhale. Inhale, drag yourself forward into the back bend. Exhale, push yourself back into downward dog. Right foot forward, inhale to warrior one. Look up if you can. Hands to the floor, exhale, step back, bend the elbows. Inhale, chest up. Exhale, hips up. Left foot steps forward, warrior one. Inhale, reach. Hands to the floor. Exhale, step back, lower down. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Shake out the head so that your neck is relaxed. If you feel super out of breath, just come to the shins for that child's pose. We're just letting the chest move slightly toward the thighs. And normally we would do 5 of these Surya Namaskar Bs, but today we're going to do 3. So instead of 5A, 5B, we're going to do 3A, 3B. You can always pause the recording and do more. After your exhale, step or jump forward. Inhale when you get there. Fold, exhale. Bend the knees. Inhale, reach up. Samasthiti, sometimes called Tadasana in other lineages. Inhale, reach up, bend the knees. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway up. Step or jump, chaturanga. Exhale. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Right foot forward. If you have any back issues, just keep your back heel up. Exhale, hands to the floor. Step back, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Left foot forward. You choose about that back heel because you don't want to hurt your low back. We reach up for that inhale, and we come into chaturanga again for the exhale. Upward facing, inhale. Downward facing, exhale. Either stay in there or child's pose. Find a way to press into your fingers to help lengthen your butt up and back, away from your hands. And if you only have 10 or 15 minutes in a day to do a practice, to do a yoga practice, these sun salutes are a good way to spend those 10 or 15 minutes. You pretty much address all the big muscle groups. And you get the chance to pair the breath with the movement. Okay, let's lift the heels up high from downward dog. Inhale there. Exhale to bend the knees, look forward, and jump forward. Inhale when you get to the top. Fold, exhale. Bend into the knees. Inhale. Straighten the legs. Exhale. So we'll move into the standing poses. I'm just going to face this way, but you stay right where you are. Measure out your feet. So if you make fists and you put the fist between your feet, that's about your hips width. So just make sure your feet are about that distance, facing front. Hands to the hips. Inhale, chest up. Fold forward, exhale. Reach for your big toes with the first two fingers and thumbs. Inhale, chest up. Exhale, start to fold. Chest toward the legs. If you have any issues reaching this grip, just bend your knees. Try to let your biceps deepen your pose and keep bringing your shoulders away from your ears so that you're not just shrugging them. Next, inhale, straighten the arms again so your chest moves away from your legs. And place the hands under the feet for your exhale. So your palms are facing up, toes by your wrists. Inhale there, and fold, exhale. If you can't quite get this position, just bend the knees as much as you need. Let those toes go all the way to the inner wrists, because this will counter stretch what you did in all of those chaturangas. Because at the very beginning of a yoga practice, maybe the first 3 years of a yoga practice, the wrists can be very sensitive. Okay, straighten the arms, inhale. Hands to the hips, exhale. Come all the way to stand, inhale. Bring the feet together, exhale. We'll step the right foot back, maybe 2.5 feet. We'll pivot so our right foot faces the back edge of the mat. Arms out like a T. Reach as far out as you can, inhale. Exhale, that right hand down, left arm up. That right hand could be on your shin, your ankle, your big toe. If you have a block, you can place it down. I would recommend, if you have the block, put it on the pinky toe side, the outer shin, instead of the inner shin, because then you can lean back more. And we want to open up the chest in this pose toward the ceiling. Bring that right hip under you a little more. Okay, next inhale, use your belly strength. Inhale yourself up, so you're supporting your back. Pivot the feet, exhale, so your left foot faces the front edge. Inhale to reach as far out as you can, and lower the hand, exhale. Gaze up toward your right thumb. And you might notice that your hand lands sort of higher up on the leg at first. And then as you're taking a few breaths here, you get more comfortable in your hamstring and you can let the left hand slide further down. You don't have to enter the deepest pose right away. Okay, belly in to support your back. Inhale yourself to stand. And we'll pivot on the feet to square up to the back edge of the mat. So visualize your hip bones, your front hip bones like headlights, straight forward. Back foot about 45 degrees, right foot straight forward. Left arm up, inhale. Reach as far up and out as you can, exhale. Then place that left hand down on either side of your foot or on the block. Right arm up. This is twisting triangle, very hard pose. My advanced classes, we still struggle with this pose. You'll notice that it's easier if you're higher up. So if you have the block, know that it has 3 sides. If you put it to the highest side, it will be an easier twist. Keep squeezing your thighs toward each other so you're balanced. And let's exhale to untwist. Inhale to rise up. Change direction to square up to the front edge of the mat. Right arm as high up and out as you can. And right hand settles somewhere. Left arm up. So we're trying to keep the hips square here. None of us have had our teachers in the room with us for a few months, so it might not be as square as it once was. Or maybe it's just giving you the opportunity to feel how it goes instead of take someone else's opinion. We need to keep working the legs so that we don't tip over. Push into the ball of your left foot. And on your next exhale, untwist. Inhale to rise up, belly in. We're going to face the long edge of the mat and step to the top of the mat. You can bring the hands to prayer when you step forward. We'll step the right foot back again, this time a longer stance. Pivot the right toes to face the back edge, warrior two. And let's just stay here for a moment, make sure that you're comfortable. You want your front foot to basically bisect your back arch. Let's straighten the right leg for a sec. This is not normally done in Ashtanga. Exhale to bend it, but it does help us get into that right hip a little more. Inhale, straighten. And this time when we exhale, we'll take Parshvakonasana, which is the next pose in the series. You can bring your forearm to your thigh. The top arm's going to go over the ear. Or you can bring your right hand down to the pinky toe side of your foot, either on the ground or that block. And you're going to try to look at your left hand, get that pinky finger to angle down. Keep pressing that right heel into the floor. Take one more breath. And we're going to keep our warrior two shape in the legs. Just inhale yourself up. Take another breath there. Normally we would transition a little sooner, but this is going to build the strength of your legs. Then we'll straighten the right leg, pivot on the feet, and bend the left knee. Check your feet, so just look down. Every pose is built from the foundation up, so our feet are what's on the ground. They're our foundation. Let's straighten the left leg, inhale. Bend the knee, exhale. This is just going to get some cracks and pops out of the hips. Inhale, straighten, and into Parshvakonasana, which in English is extended side angle pose. So we're trying to get a straight line from that right foot to the right hand. Another one of those things you can't see. Your teacher can, a mirror can. Don't worry about it too much. Just press into the pinky toe edge of the back foot. And if you bring your left hand to the floor.
I think video's gone.
What happened? Sorry, the video got messed up. What happened, sir? I don't know. Okay. Hopefully you guys stayed where you were. My student said something and then I don't know what happened. Okay, so here we are. Keep your left heel digging into the floor. Inhale your way up. Take your warrior two. Just stay there for a moment. And then inhale to straighten the leg. Pivot on the feet. We're going to square up to the back edge of the mat again. For now, lift your back heel. Take a prayer twist. I'm just going to turn around so you can see what a prayer twist looks like. We're going to hook the arm, bring the hands together. If this is easy for you, the full pose does include putting the back heel down. If that's too much, just keep it up. If your shoulders feel steady here, lower the left hand to the floor, and you can reach the right arm over the ear. The full pose, which is the version I'm doing right now, is very challenging. So if you get there and you find that you're not breathing, bring your hands to that prayer again, or lift your back heel. Just change something so that it's more steady. Okay, slowly unravel, rise up, pivot around. Lift the back heel for now, just so that you can get your right arm further hooked on your leg. And then the hands are in prayer to start. Make sure your thumb is not by your shoulder. Center chest is where we're going for. Lower the back heel if you want. Lower the right hand if you want. You can keep your left hand sort of on your hips and butt to help steer you, or extend it out. Rewind a little bit. And we'll slowly rise up. Face the long edge of your mat again. Inhale, and step to the top of your mat. Exhale. We'll step the right foot back. This time we'll keep the toes facing the long edge of the mat. Hands to the hips. Inhale. Fold forward. Exhale. Place the hands down between the feet. Inhale. Exhale to fold. So we're using the hands here, pushing down into the floor to bring our head closer to the floor. You'll notice it's a lot of hamstring. So just go easy. If your head's not on the floor, you could put the block there. Next, inhale, straighten your arms. Hands to the hips, exhale. Rise up, inhale, and stay there, exhale. Arms out to the side, inhale. B position, hands to the hips, exhale. Chest up, elbows back, inhale. And then we fold and keep our hands on the hips, attempting to bring our head to the same spot it was before. Now you don't have the hands pulling you, so you have to figure out how to work the legs. One thing that helps a lot is bringing a little bit more weight into the ball of the foot. We have the tendency to hang out on the heels because we're afraid of somersaulting. And fear is a good thing to protect you, but just make sure you're not hanging out too far on the heels. Just be a little bit brave. Next inhale, we'll rise up. Stay there for the exhale. Arms out to the side, inhale. Interlace the fingers behind the back, exhale. Straighten the arms, chest up, inhale. This is C position, exhale. Prasarita Padottanasana C. And we just let the thumbs and the arms move away from the butt. I need to open up the palms here and have a bend in the wrist. I also sometimes bend the elbows and roll the shoulders back one at a time, because otherwise I get stuck. So in every pose, you'll find the ways that help you deepen your pose. The teachers, me and everyone else, we're all just sharing with you what works for us. Okay, keep your thumbs as far away from your butt as you can. Inhale yourself to stand. Hands to the hips, exhale. Notice your chest is very open. Inhale, keep that open. And exhale to fold, reach down for your big toes. First two fingers and thumbs. Inhale there. And exhale to fold. So now again, your hands are quite helpful in getting you a little bit more of like a pancake. Your chest moving through the space between your legs. If you're feeling like it's too much in your hamstring, just a little bend in the knees maybe. One more breath here. And we'll inhale to straight arms. Place the palms down. We're going to walk the hands to the right foot. Anjaneyasana, it's a low lunge, the back knee comes to the floor. Untuck the back toes and put your hands on your right thigh. You're just going to push your right knee forward and your chest will move away from the knee. So this is one way that you can prep for your splits. This back leg is getting the stretch that it needs for a split. Another way, let's try it. We're going to scoot the left knee just a few more inches back and straighten the right leg. You can drop your head toward your leg as far as it goes. This is another way to prep for split because it deals with your right hamstring. So feel free to do either of those preps or start to walk your feet further apart so you wind up in your version of a split. And this is not in traditional primary series, but my teacher is Tim Miller and he always puts it in. And I think it really helps with pretty much everything that comes after. Okay, so those of you that went towards split, just start to creep your back knee in again so that you have some control and bend into your right leg. And we're just gonna walk the hands around to the other side. For that low lunge, Anjaneyasana, untuck the right toes, place the hands on the left knee, and just give that left knee a nudge forward. Chest is up. If you have any back issues here, one thing to remember is lifting the pubic bone up. So you're never really sinking down. There's always a lifted feeling. If that doesn't relieve you enough, just put your hands on the ground so you're less back bending. Okay, other form of split prep. Creep your right knee back a little more. Straighten your left leg. Flex your left foot if you can, and drop your head toward your shin. Feel free to stay in either of those preps, or we just creep the feet further apart until they will go no more. You could wedge stuff under your left thigh if you want. I don't really use props too much for myself because they kind of distract me from the next pose or the current pose. I get kind of stuck on my prop. But they are really useful for a lot of people and in a lot of situations. But I just know for myself, I get attached to my prop. So I just don't use it at all. Okay, we're going to start to creep our feet in again to a nice comfortable lunge. And let's pivot to return to the Prasarita Padottanasana series. Toes will face the long edge of the mat. Bring the hands to the hips. Inhale yourself up. We'll just step to the top of the mat. All right, before we do the next thing, just a little shoulder prep. So let's take cactus arms. Roll the shoulders forward so your fingers angle down. And roll the shoulders open so your palms start to angle back and up, like you're serving platters of food. And just return to point A, point B, and whatever your range of motion allows for right now. Okay, the next time that your fingers are angling down, you're going to sneak them behind your back and try to take reverse prayer. So there's a few ways. Some people go from the fingertips by your butt, creep the fingertips together and slide the hands up. I personally get my knuckles together and then flip it around, pinky edge of hand. If neither of those work for you, just take opposite elbows behind the back. And once you're situated with your arms, step your right foot back, about 2.5 feet, and pivot to face the back of your mat. Square your hips, left foot about 45-degree angle, chest up, inhale, fold forward and exhale. So we're reaching the chest out and eventually down. You don't have to be folded very deep in this pose. You could be like torso parallel to the floor. Wherever you are, keep lifting your elbows up toward each other. Next inhale, we'll rise up. Exhale to pivot on the legs. Inhale to lift the chest. And exhale to fold over that left leg. Elbows up. Keep pushing into the ball of your left foot. And keep the legs straight. So even if that means you're not folded as deep as you want to be, that's really just your ego having that desire to be in a certain spot. More important to keep the legs straight. Next, inhale, rise up, face the long edge of the mat, and step your feet to the top of your mat, release your hands. Okay, a few little standing poses. Stand on your left leg, right hand to shin, pull the knee in. Either stay here or reach for your big toe and extend the leg out. Those of you that are extending the leg out, notice that the knee is in the same spot. If I'm holding the shin or I'm holding the big toe, the knee is pretty much there, and I'm just going to extend the lower portion of the leg. If you want, you can fold forward and bring your head toward your shin bone. If your head is on your shin, rise up again, and let's open the leg out to the side. You'll either be holding your big toe or holding your shin and pulling your knee in toward your armpit. Regardless of which grip you're choosing, don't lean to the left. Just stand up tall, shoulders over hips, and let your right arm bend as much as you want it to without you leaning. Let's take the leg to center again. Let's interlace the fingers under the thigh. This is not in the series, but it helps us a lot. So now we have the weight of the leg held up really by the shoulders, because the arms having a pretty easy time here because we're standing up straight. Start to power up your legs and your core. Slip your fingers away, hands to the hips, point the toes, elbows back, and then lower your right foot. We'll try the other side. We'll hold the left knee, or shin, I should say, upper shin, and we're just going to pull the knee in. Keep the right leg straight. Make a choice. If you want to reach down for your big toe, you do have to round your back, bring your belly in so that you can actually get the grip. And then you stand up tall again and start to extend the leg. If you've extended the leg and things are still going well, then you bring the head down. Woo, I started to lose my balance, so things were not going that well. Those of you with your head on your leg, lift it up. And we'll all bring the leg out to the side, either knee to armpit, or we're pushing the ball of the foot out to the left. We're trying not to lean to the right. Bring the leg to center again. Let's switch the grip. Interlace your fingers under your thigh, shoulders back, chest up. And you'll start to notice as you slip your fingers away how much your legs and your abdominals take over, especially the standing leg. Release that left foot down, shake it out. Okay, a little prep for the next pose, right ankle to lower left thigh. I'll do it facing you guys. So you just place it on the lower thigh and then stick your butt out, lean your chest forward. Hands to prayer. This is to open the right hip. This is not in the series, but it helps a lot for everything. Let's just try the other side. Stand up, right foot on the floor, left ankle to thigh, flex that left foot like crazy. The more you stick your butt out, the more you can lean your chest forward. Just a little counterbalance. Okay, start to stand up. A couple options here. If half lotus is not for you, you're going to take tree, right foot to left thigh, like this. If half lotus is for you, you're going to bring your right foot to half lotus, your right knee will go down toward the ground. You could bind here, or it's easier if you fold first. Place your hands on the floor and drop your head. And once you're comfortable there, maybe today, maybe another day, you reach your right arm behind your back. You find your big toe. If your half lotus is solid, your toe will be there, ready to be grabbed by your right hand. Woo. Those of you folded, inhale yourself halfway up. Stay, exhale, and then come the rest of the way up, inhale. And we'll all release. So from tree or from half lotus, right foot down. Okay, left side. Either place your foot on your thigh. If that's too much, just put your foot down here. Heel on the ankle, toe on the ground. So either tree or half lotus. And if you're thinking half lotus, heel is going to be up by your belly button, because then your foot is high enough on your right leg to be in the crease of the hip. So either fold forward and then wrap, or maybe you want to try wrapping first just to see how that is. And then you'll fold and reach the hand down. This practice is meant to be done quite often. So on any given day, you don't really have to try too hard. Just 75% of your effort, 80% of your effort, no more. And then you, whatever it is that you're kind of stressing out about, you'll just come back to it tomorrow and try it again. If you're folded, come halfway up, inhale. Stay there, exhale, and then the rest of the way up. Inhale, we'll all release from the balance. I'm going to wipe the sweat, and we'll come to the top of the mat. We're almost done with standing poses. Bend into the knees. Inhale. We're going to stay here. Usually we come into this through a vinyasa. We just skipped that one vinyasa. So this is a back bend. Sink your way into the heels. Lift your chest up. And visualize your sitting bones moving toward each other. That will help protect your low back a little bit. Let's exhale to bring our hands down about 12 inches in front of the toes. Lift your heels, knees into the upper arms. Shift your weight forward. That's going to be your toes propelling you forward. Bakasana, you start to lift your feet towards your butt. And you step or jump back to Chaturanga. Just continue the same thing we did before in all those sun salutes. Every Chaturanga finds you into then an upward dog and a downward dog. Let's step the right foot forward. Warrior one. This time we'll stay for 5 breaths. When we did them in the sun salutes, we were only there for 1 inhale. That's like a half breath. So now that we're here for 5 breaths, we can really feel how strong this pose is. How much that back leg has to work to stay straight. How much that front heel has to dig into the ground to help us get the right hip back. And on your next inhale, straighten your right leg. Pivot on your feet for the exhale. Stay there for 1 more inhale. Try to bring the right hip forward. And exhale to bend the left knee. You can gaze up at the hands, or you can gaze straight forward or anywhere in between that suits you. Open up to warrior two. So I like to adjust the feet a little bit here. A little longer stance. And we make sure that the front heel can bisect the back arch. Arms are strong here. Triceps are lifting up into the arm bone. The hip bones and the collarbones are facing the long edge of the mat. But this front knee is pushing to the left. Next, inhale, straighten the left leg. Pivot on the feet. Exhale to bend the right knee. Push the right knee to the right. If you were to look down, you should see that you have a big toe on your right foot. If your knee is dropping in, it's going to block your view. Make sure you're pushing that right knee to the right. Take 1 more breath. And we'll move through what we call the vinyasa, hands to the floor, step back, chaturanga, exhale. Inhale to your upward facing. Exhale to your downward facing. So anytime someone says vinyasa, they just mean exhale chaturanga, inhale up dog, exhale down dog. Okay, we're gonna come through to sitting. So bring your butt between your hands. Straighten out the legs. Hands by the hips, chest up, shoulders down the back, chin down toward the chest. Legs are super strong, feet are flexed, calf muscles pushed down. So this looks like an easy pose, but if you're scanning your body and really paying attention, it's very hard. Okay, Paschimottanasana, we'll reach for our big toes with the first 2 fingers and thumbs. Inhale. Fold over the legs, exhale. So if you have any back issues here, just bend your knees. Or if your hamstrings are tight, you can't get the grip otherwise, bend the knees. But don't use a strap around the feet, because that will kind of negate some of the hip stretch that we're going to achieve here, and it will make it all about the hamstrings. We want to keep this about the hips. You'll get to your hamstrings also, but we just don't want to negate that. Okay, inhale your way up. So there is a B, we're just going to skip it. We're going to move into a prep for the next pose. Place your hands back behind you about 8 inches. Soles of the feet down. Lift your butt. This is a reverse tabletop. Try to get your hips as high as your knees. Try to keep your arms straight. And you can just drop your head. Instead of looking at the wall behind you, look toward the tip of your nose. And try to open your chest a little more. Let's come on down. That was a prep for Purvottanasana, which we will try now. If you have back issues, you might decide Purvottanasana is not for you. The difference is going to be the legs. So point the toes, straight legs, glue your legs together. Then bring your hands back, just like you did. Same idea of the upper body. This time we're just going to dig our heels into the floor and lift the hips up. We try to breathe. You're engaging all the muscles on the back side of your body in order to stretch the front. Let's slowly come on down. Cross your ankles. Place your hands in front of you and step back for a vinyasa. The exhale is the chaturanga. The inhale is the upward facing. The exhale is the downward facing. We jump through to sitting. We bring our legs straight out in front of us again. And we're going to take some things out of order. So when you do regular primary, you're going to see this is not the proper order. For now, Janu Sirsasana A, right foot to left thigh. Little twist. Reach for your left foot, inhale. And fold straight over that left leg, exhale. This pose is just going to help us to do the one that really would come next in the sequence. So for right now, just think about reaching your right armpit away from your hip, away from your right hip, lengthening the sides of your body. If you draw your belly in, you'll have a much easier time squaring over the leg. Okay, inhale to straight arms, release the foot. Let's just change legs. Normally you would do a full vinyasa. Okay, I'm just going to face the camera for the sake of it, but you're just staying put. Left foot to right thigh, inhale, twist. Exhale to fold. So hopefully by breath number 5 in this pose, you feel more comfortable than you did at breath number 1. Keep pressing that calf muscle into the floor, flexing that right foot. Okay, straighten the arms, inhale. Cross the shins or ankles, we'll just lean forward, place the hands, vinyasa, step back, exhale. Inhale, upward facing, pull your chest forward, downward dog, exhale, push your legs and butt back. And we'll jump through to sitting. Or slide step, however you want to get there. That's one of the things that will take forever to master. Okay, Janu Sirsasana B. You just did A, now we're going to do B. So it starts the same. Your right foot is facing front. You're just gonna lift your butt up and come forward a few inches so you're sitting on your heel. The knee will come in slightly. And then it's the same. Reach for your foot, inhale, and fold, exhale. Each inhale, try to lengthen yourself toward your left foot. And each exhale, draw your belly in and twist just a little bit more. So each breath is really serving you. It helps keep you focused. Okay, straighten the arms, inhale. Just release yourself from your foot. Exhale. And other side, right leg straight. Left foot will come toward your right thigh. And you just sit up and over. So your heel is basically between anus and genitals. That's the spot. We twist. You can reach for your foot. If it's too far away, just put your hand somewhere else. You can drop your forehead toward your shin if you're that far along in the forward bend, or you can look at your toes and bring your chin toward your shin. And we'll rise up, come off of your heel, and vinyasa. So just cross the ankles, place your hands, step back, bend the elbows. Inhale. And exhale. And we'll come through to sitting. Okay, so we'll rewind back to where we were for Ardha Baddha. I'm going to face you guys for this. So if half lotus is not for you, you can repeat what we just did. We did Janu Shirsasana A. To do Ardha Baddha Padma, Paschimottanasana, you'll take your right leg to half lotus. And it's just like when we were standing, heel to belly button, foot to top of thigh. Wrap the right arm behind you. Inhale and fold, exhale. We stay here for 5 breaths. And now that we're not doing it standing, maybe you find a new way to look at this pose. Maybe you're more focused on the heel, digging into your abdominals. Two more breaths. We'll inhale up, release the leg. Normally there would be a vinyasa between sides, but we're only vinyasa-ing between poses for this. So either Janu A like you did before, or heel to belly button, foot to half lotus, wrap around. So if you're not really tight in your half lotus, your foot might be somewhere in the middle of your thigh. That's okay. Just know that then you won't have a toe to grab. When you reach around, you'll just be kind of folding in no man's land. But eventually, it's going to work out. Your foot will get higher on the leg. You just have to put in the time. So find your fold, your variation of it. In the Ashtanga tradition, you go along in the series until you reach a pose that you can't do. When you get to that pose, you might try that pose for 6 months or a year before you move on to the next one. When you get to that hard pose, you would do your finishing poses and then literally pack up your mat and leave the room. Inhale to straighten your arm, unwind the legs. Let's vinyasa. So as you're moving through an Ashtanga practice, over the years, it changes in duration. Sometimes my practice is an hour and a half. Sometimes it's 2 hours and 15 minutes. It just depends on what series I'm working on and how I'm moving through it. Okay, let's jump through to sitting. We'll straighten the left leg, fold the right leg back. The arch of the right foot is just next to your hip. If you have any pain in your knee, your right knee, sit on something. Since you're at home, you can even just sit on a book. Does not have to be a fancy yoga block. Reach for your foot, inhale, and fold, exhale. You might notice that you're tipping over to one side. If that's happening to you, Instead of having both hands on your foot, just put your left hand on the ground and use it like a kickstand. Okay, next inhale, straighten the arms, rise up, release the right leg, and change to bend the left. So the thighs are pretty much parallel, the knees are close together. You might have to negotiate your calf muscle a little bit, and just make sure your left foot is facing straight back, not out to the side. There's no weird ankle bend. And inhale, chest up and over. Hands however you need them to be, steering you into this forward bend. And this practice is designed to be done multiple times a week. If you were just doing primary series, it would be a 6-day-a-week thing. I usually do it about once a week because I'm messing around with second series more. But you'll notice as you do it more, you don't need that kickstand anymore, or you can get your head lower. It really does change over time. Let's straighten the arms. Inhale, release the leg, cross the shins, vinyasa. The shoulders are over the hands when you step back. Then just bend the elbows so the elbows are over the wrists. Inhale to your upward facing. Exhale to your downward facing. And let's come through to sitting. Normally, this is where Janushirasana A, B, and C would be. We already did A and B. We're going to skip C for today because it's very gnarly. Let's go to Marichyasana A. Bring your right heel close to your butt. I'm going to face you for this. We're going to have a few inches here between the foot and the thigh because you need to fold and have room for your ribs. So reach as far forward as you can with your right arm and turn your thumb down. Bring your armpit in front of your shin bone. When you can, bend your right elbow. You're going to hold hands near your right hip. I'll do it from this angle just in case this is new to you. So it's really a function of your right shoulder being in front of your shin, and then that elbow bends around the side of you. Your right hand's going to hold your left wrist, and you fold. We're going to try to keep pushing that leg into the arm. We won't let everything collapse in. And let's rise up, release your bind, and change sides. I'll keep facing this way for now. So reach as far forward as you can, armpit in front of shin, and that left thumb is going to guide you around. The left palm is going to face the ceiling as it comes around. And this is really the hardest part about this pose. So take your time sorting out your shoulder. Remember that your right leg is still straight, the calf muscle's pushing down, the foot is flexed. And we'll slowly unwind, rise up, and vinyasa. I get all turned around on my mat because of the camera situation. You'll just move your hands in front of you, step back and lower down, exhale. Coming through to sit. So you can slide your feet through however you want. I'm going to show you a two-part jump through so you can practice getting your butt smoothly between your hands. So in this one, we're just going to jump our feet between our hands but cross the ankles so that we land with the edges of our feet on the ground. Notice how the shoulders are forward. Then you can walk your hands back a little bit. Keep your shoulders forward. Knees are near the shoulders. And we'll just extend the legs and lower down. So you can practice that 1,000,000 times and then it will work out. Okay, Marichyasana C. We're going to skip B. Hug your right knee to your left shoulder and twist. When that feels good, hook your arm. Move your belly flesh and your boobs to the side of your leg so they're free. When you're ready for your shoulder to bind, your left thumb is going to move down and around your shin bone so that the left palm is facing out. Then your right hand can come around and just plunk itself into your left palm. We look back over the right shoulder. If the full bind is too much and you feel like you're falling backward, just keep your right hand on the floor, keep yourself upright, and just work on this left arm coming around. Doesn't have to come around today. Remember, you're only going like 75% or 80% of effort. Okay, slowly unravel yourself. Change sides, right leg straight, left leg bends. Heel as close to your butt as you can, because you got to make this leg situation very compact. Otherwise, your arm is not going to be long enough. So I like to lean back a little bit in order to get the belly and everything else out of the way. You can always just stay hugging your knee to your shoulder. When you're ready to hook, you're going to push your arm into your leg is going to push back. And when you're ready to bind, you're going to dip your thumb down, shoulder's going to roll forward, and you'll let your knuckles come near your right hip. And that's pretty much as far as it needs to go, just to that right hip. We try to look back over the left shoulder. And you have no view of your straight leg. You just try to expand your internal awareness to that straight leg and make sure that it is still behaving. Let's slowly unravel the arms and vinyasa. Place the hands, step back, lower down, exhale. Upward facing dog, inhale. Downward facing dog, exhale. So however you want to get your butt between your hands, do that. The 2-part jump through, the 1-part, whatever. That might be a thing that you write down and you ask your improv teacher to go over. Okay, next in the sequence is Marichasana D. We're going to skip it and go to Navasana. So you can bend your knees, get balance comfortable on your butt, frame your legs with your arms. Then when you feel ready, start to lift your feet, some amount. Your legs may straighten, they may not. You might decide to hold on to the thighs. And let's cross the ankles. Lean forward, lift your butt. Lower your butt again. And just do that a few times. Notice how your shoulders stay forward. And you're just letting your arms straighten. And your butt just automatically comes up. Okay, lower your butt down again. Lift your legs. Same thing. If you're not breathing, take a different variation. It's not worth it to hold your breath just to have this straight leg thing. Okay, cross your shins. This time we're going to try to keep our feet up when we lift our butt. Takes a lot more work. So lower your butt again, just try it a few times. It's the same idea of rocking forward. You just have to use these hip flexor muscles to keep your legs in the air. Okay, butt down. Again, Navasana. Okay, cross the shins. This time we'll go for a little handstand, which is not actually in the sequence, but it's really fun. And it's sort of a little distraction, and it is the reward, basically, for doing all the other stuff you did. So wall if you want, find your downward dog, step one foot in a little bit, and just practice pushing into the ground with the foot that's staying down, and reaching over with the leg that lifted up. And we'll come down to our butt again, because we get to do another round of Navasana. And if you did go to the handstand, you'll notice it was, in a way, easier than this. Let's cross the shins. lift your butt, lower your butt. Decide if you want to practice that lifting, lowering, or if you want to practice your handstand. As you're practicing, just bring your shoulders over your fingers. And we'll come down to our butt again. Last one, Navasana. So this is the 5th. It is done 5 times. And it is very hard. Many people will do this pose, then do the finishing poses, and pack up and leave the room. Cross the shins, lift yourself, and find either your last handstand, or just go to downward dog. We'll meet there. Okay, so from down dog, come through to sitting. I'm just going to swivel around. We're going to skip the next 3 poses because they're crazy. Bring the soles of your feet together, heels as close to your pelvis as you can. Shin bones might be in a straight line, depends on your knees and hips. Chest up, inhale, fold forward, exhale. This is Baddha Konasana A. I like to put my little sweat towel down in front of me so that I can use it while I'm here and wipe the sweat. You could use your elbows on your thighs to gently push your knees toward the floor. And next inhale, we're going to rise up for Baddha Konasana B. Tuck the chin, round your back, draw your belly in, and aim your head for your feet. It's really hard. Curl into a little ball. Each inhale, I try to bring the belly toward the spine, and each exhale, curl a little more. And we'll slowly unravel. Let's just cross the ankle, place the hands, step back, exhale, chaturanga. So there's a lot of this vinyasa, as you can see, and we're also skipping half of it, so you can imagine how much there is in the full sequence. Let's come through to sitting. At any point, you can skip more of them, or you can add more of them. I'm just checking the clock. Okay. Legs out to the side. Reach out for the edges of your feet. Inhale. Fold forward. Exhale. Try to keep your legs straight, your kneecaps facing the ceiling. It's very tempting for the knees to kind of drop in, and we don't really want that to happen. One of the ways to prevent the knees from dropping in is press the outer edge of your foot into your hand. Next inhale, rise up, let go of the feet, lean back a little bit, and lift the legs and catch them. So you hold where you were before. If that's too difficult, just bend your knees, get the grip, then lean back and extend the legs. And if you can't get your legs straight because your hamstrings are tight and you're somewhere here, that's fine. After a few years of this, your legs will be straighter. No matter how straight they are, you're just pushing the ball of your foot up and away. And slowly release your grip, cross your shins, place the hands, step back, vinyasa. Let's come through to sitting. Okay, we're going to practice just rocking and rolling for a moment. I'm going to take the bun out of my hair because otherwise it sometimes gets in the way. We're not going to go necessarily that far back, but hands to the shins, exhale back, and inhale up. And as you're going back and forward, you're just rounding your back. But when you're perched on your butt, you're lifting your chest. And you'll notice if you don't lift your chest when you get to your butt, you'll wind up with your feet on the ground. And your body knows how to do that. Okay. So we're going to attempt that same rocking. We're just going to do it holding the big toes. It's hard. So if that doesn't suit you, just hold somewhere else along the leg. We're going to come all the way back onto the shoulders, open up the legs, and take hold of the big toes. I'm going to actually go on a diagonal because I'm not really sure what is caught in the video feed. So we have our big toe grip. We have our butt in the air, but we're pressing the back of the head into the floor so we're not compressing the neck. A little bug could crawl underneath our neck right now. Our vertebrae are not smushed. On your next inhale, rock up to sitting. Balance on your butt. And it's the same thing if the chest had to lift so that you didn't go too far forward. And if that didn't work for you, just try it a few more times. You might need to bend your knees as you do it. We're going to land with straight legs. For a long time, I clunked the heels into the floor. The way to not do that is to pull up. My arms are pulling up, and I'm going to let my calf muscles land so that I can then come into the forward bend. It's really scary at first because you don't want to break your heels. So you might just practice the rocking for a few years, and then eventually you'll get the strength. Let's step back and vinyasa. From downward dog, we'll jump through to sitting. We'll lay back, so take your bun out if you haven't yet, but you may have noticed that the previous pose requires you to push the back of your head into the floor. Okay, right leg up. Reach for the big toe, first two fingers and thumb, left hand on the thigh, point the left foot. And we'll just start to pull the right leg toward us, do a little sit-up. And as we're doing this sit-up, we are bringing our head to our shin. I like to have a little peek at the left leg and just make sure, are the toes pointed? I thought they were, but maybe they're not. Is my kneecap facing up? It could do a little bit more. A little more internal rotation of that left leg. And let's lower head and shoulders down. Open the right leg out to the right. Try not to fall over to the leg. Gaze to the left. So you'll notice this is also similar to a standing pose that we did. Some of you, instead of holding the big toe, you might have been holding your shin. It's fine either way. You could always adjust it. But this pose, even though it's toward the end of your primary series, can help teach you about the standing balance so that tomorrow, when you go back to your primary series, you have more information. Let's bring the leg to center again. Head towards shin bone. And then release the leg down, head and shoulders down. Left leg up. Catch the foot. Bring the head and shoulders up. Right hand is just helping anchor the thigh. If you've ever had a teacher anchor the thigh for you, you see how useless this hand really is. It's more a reminder. When a teacher comes and stands on that leg, it's a very different anchor experience. Let's lower head and shoulders down. Open the leg to the left, gaze to the right. So when you did this standing earlier, you might have had a crazy breath because you were balanced on one foot. Now maybe you're feeling a little bit more calm, or maybe you're more flexible right now. But you will take all this information to your mat next time. Let's bring the leg to center, head towards shin, any amount, and then release that leg down. Normally, we'll backward somersault out of that, but today we're just going to bring the knees to the chest, And practice that rocking and rolling again, just like you did before. Just how do you round your back enough to make it somewhat smooth? Then the next time that you're rocking forward, just cross your shins, place your hands, step back, chaturanga, exhale. Inhale, and we'll meet in downward dog. Shake out your neck. Make sure that when you're rocking, you're not bringing any tension to the neck. And let's jump through, have a seat. Check the clock. Okey doke. Let's lay back. We're gonna rock again, this time legs up and over. Straight if you can. Legs close together, reach for your big toes, butt up, shoulders pressed down, and on your inhale, you're gonna rock up to sit. And notice I went too far, Boop. So the heels just went to the ground, no big deal. Try it again if that happened to you. You could also do this, you could bend your knees. As you come up, find your balance, and then extend your legs out. Once you get on your butt with your legs up, you're just pushing the balls of your feet away. And keep the legs somewhat there. Just release the hands, frame the legs. Take an inhale, have a conscious thought, and cross your shins and vinyasa. Okay. Let's step the right foot forward. We're gonna take a detour for a moment from primary series. I'm gonna redo my bun while we hang out for a moment in Anjaneyasana. This is just gonna help us move into back bends. We did this pose earlier. It probably feels much different now. Just take another breath. And slowly switch sides. So you could step to downward dog and switch sides, or I like to step the back foot forward and then switch. But it really does not matter at all. We're trying to make that right hip move forward so that we feel a lot of sensation through this front hip flexor. If you're a runner, this is going to be a lot harder for you. That doesn't mean stop running. It just means accept the reality that it will be harder for you. Okay, hands to the floor, downward dog. Let's come down to the knees. Anahatasana. So Anahata chakra is the heart chakra. We're going to open the heart by walking the hands forward and dropping the chest to the floor. You might, instead of bringing your chin down, you might need to bring your forehead down. If bringing the forehead down feels easy enough, place the chin and or chest on the ground. Some of you, even armpits will go to the ground. So we want this to open the throat and upper back. Not really compress the low back. So draw your belly button in toward your spine. That's going to minimize the back bend for your low belly and low back. Okay, come forward. Walk the hands in a little bit. Let's just measure out the elbows. Wrap your fingers around the edge of your arm, both sides. Then place your palms flat. Lift the knees. This is down dog B. So we're on the forearms, and we have our forearms parallel to one another. Don't let your hands migrate toward each other. Keep them right where they are in front of the wrists. You're going to have to push your fingertips into the floor to make sure that they don't move in. If this is too easy for you, walk your feet closer to your elbows. Keep pushing your chest toward your legs. Take one more breath. And we'll just straighten the arms to wind up in a normal downward dog. And let's come onto the shins, however you want to get there. We're going to have a seat in Virasana. So we're taking a little detour from primary just to open you for back bend more. If you have any knee issues, sit up on a block. If you feel fine here, come down to your back. Primary series is a lot of forward bending. And after like 70 minutes or so of forward bending, you start doing back bends. And it can be a little bit shocking to the system if you're new to it especially. But back bends are really not all about the spine. They're a lot about your thighs being flexible, your shoulders being open, chest. So they should not hurt your back. Let's slowly come on up. And vinyasa. For a really long time, back bends hurt me, and I avoided them. And then I met a teacher who said, if you have back pain, it probably means your back is weak. So you need to do more back bends in order to strengthen the back. Okay, let's come through to sitting. And I found that that is true. I no longer have back pain because I do a lot of back bends now. So we're gonna lay on our backs, heels close to your butt, lift your chest, or not your chest, sorry, lift your hips, and interlace your fingers under the back. So you have to roll a little bit. Roll onto the right shoulder to get your left arm further under you. Roll onto the left shoulder to get the right arm further under you. And if you can, your palms are flush. Hips up pretty high. This is called Setu Bandha Sarvangasana. Okay, come on down to your back. Feel free to repeat that. Or we'll go for Urdhva Dhanurasana, hands by the shoulders. Your elbows are just facing the ceiling. Don't let them splay out to the side. They're just facing straight up. You can see them with your eyeballs. And come to the top of the head. 2 hands, 2 feet, and a head are on the ground. Roll a little bit toward your forehead. Power up the legs and straighten the arms. Take 5 breaths here. The stronger your legs are, the more your chest is going to move through your arms, the less pain you're going to have in your wrists. And we'll slowly come down to the back. Let's bring the knuckles to touch and the elbows down toward each other to see that you're bending the wrist the opposite way. If that was too much in your wrist, you might want to put your hands on the baseboard of your house. And your hands will be a little more neutral. Your wrists will be neutral. And we'll lift up again. Inhale. Those of you keeping your shoulders on the floor, make sure that a little bug could crawl under your neck. No compression in the neck vertebrae, please. Okay, slowly come on down. Feel free to do that little wrist thing again so that you counter stretch through your wrists and forearms. I'm just going to take another peek at the clock. Okay. All right, we're going to come to 2 more back bends. I'm going to show you another style. Feel free to repeat what we've done already instead. This next one I'm going to show you is very good for wrist issues, to avoid wrist issues, I should say. So you'd start on the crown of your head, just like we did before, but you'd walk your hands back toward your feet. So if you found that Urdhva Dhanurasana is hurting your wrists, doing this is a great way to open through the chest without any strain in the wrist. If you're comfortable there on your forearms, you'd lift your head and look toward the fingers. And that version will not be completely devoid of wrist because to get out of it, we lower to the crown of the head, push into straight arms, Urdhva, and then lower to the shoulders. So you do have the prep in and out as a full, strong Urdhva Dhanurasana shape. Okay, one more back bend. So after all this is said and done, you should feel like your quads are on fire. There should be no back pain. Inhale your way up and choose any of the back bends that suit you. It took me about 9 years of intense back bending to fully get rid of pain. So we're in this for the long run. Let's slowly come on down. So go easy on yourself. Make it a sustainable practice. Once you're on your back again, we're going to hold the kneecaps with the hands. We'll just pull them in close for an exhale. Push the knees away, inhale. Pull them close, exhale. Push away, inhale. And last time. Okay, rock and roll a little bit, side to side, or forward and back. We're gonna somehow sit up, and we're gonna take pigeon pose, which is not in primary series, but it is wonderful for post back bending. So right leg in front, left leg back, downward facing pigeon. So those of you that take my improv or my advanced classes, you know we do some crazy stuff from pigeon. But right now, just a downward facing pigeon will help you widen your low back. Kind of unwind from the back bending. Okay, change sides. You could step to downward dog and change sides, or you could swing your left leg around and then swing your right leg around. Either way, you end up with the left leg in front. Check that your right leg is going straight back from your hip, not off to some weird diagonal place. You decide how far forward your left foot goes. It could be very close to your right hip, or it could be a parallel shin. Parallel being parallel to the top edge of the mat. Or anywhere in between, of course. Okay, we'll rise up, swing that back leg forward. Paschimottanasana, forward bending. This is just what we did way earlier. Let's go for the B position this time. When we did Paschimottanasana A, we held our first two fingers and thumbs around the big toes. Now we're going to hold the edges of the feet. Inhale there and fold, exhale. If your knees need to be bent, it's fine. It's the same idea. You're still pushing the ball of your foot forward and pulling the pinky toe edge of your foot back. Two more breaths here. Keep drawing your belly in so that there's not so much flesh resting on your thighs. And we'll rise up and lay back on the mat. Undo your bun again, because we're going to head to shoulder stand in a moment. So with the legs straight, point the toes, belly in. And if you're not choosing shoulder stand, you're going to go legs just up like this in an L shape. If you're choosing shoulder stand, you'll pass through the L shape and you'll lift your hips. You'll bring your hands a little bit closer to your shoulder blades. And you'll just stare at your toes. You're not going to be able to see me or your computer screen. You're just looking up because you don't want to torque your neck in any way. Take two more breaths here. We're going to keep our legs straight for halasana,
Just start dropping your legs over your face. Your toes might even touch the ground behind your head. If you feel okay there, interlace your fingers. Push the pinky edge of your hand into the ground. And now you're basically just looking at your thighs or like the gap between your thighs, looking at the ceiling. If you feel okay here, bend your knees toward your shoulders. Now you have a clear view of the ceiling again. Squeeze your knees into your ears. Push into the edge of that hand. Release the grip so the palms go flat to the mat, and we'll start to roll down to our back. Take your time, absolutely no rush. When you get down to your back, you're just going to straighten out your legs. Prop yourself up on your palms and elbows and lift the chest. Lower to the crown of the head. Either stay here with your arms supporting you and your legs on the ground, or lift your legs, lift your hands to an extended prayer. It's like there's a little string on the chest pulling up. If you've gone there, slowly release everything down. Let's bring the knees into the chest. Rock and roll a little bit. That would be another place where the real exit is through backward somersault. We're not doing that today. Rock and roll up. Vinyasa. Hands down. Step back. Lower on the exhale. Upward facing. Inhale. Downward facing. Exhale. Okay, headstand. So if that scares you, either go by the wall, legs pressing into the wall. I actually like a lot more than kicking your legs up to the wall. But I have no wall in my house, so I cannot show you these things. Text me if you want. I can make a little video outside somewhere at someone else's house. So we're going to measure our arms. This would be the way to wrap your fingers around your upper arms. Interlace your fingers. So if you just lift your knees here, this is dolphin pose. The head is off the ground, and it's a great way to build the strength in your shoulders, so that one day you can do headstand with confidence. If today is that day, bring your head down between the palms. Crown of the head is down, and we start to lift the legs up. If you have any back issues, bend your knees as you lift your legs up. And ideally, you don't have to kick. When you have the abdominal strength, then the legs just float. Most of the weight is in the arms. So push harder into the pinky edge of your hand so that you don't feel like there's this burden of your whole body bearing down on your neck. It should be relatively comfortable so that you can breathe easy. Being vertical is a little bit easier than being in an L shape. So if you're new to this and you found vertical and you're happy there, stay there. If you want to try L shape, bring your legs down to a place where you can see them and point your toes. Your butt will move back a little bit to counter the weight of your legs. And reach your legs up again so you're returning to your headstand. And with control, we're just going to bring knees to chest. Bend your knees in, curl your back so you're a little rounded ball, and then lower to child's pose. In child's pose, the arms can be in front of you or by your sides. Your knees can be open or together. I personally do knees together because it makes for more rounding. Take one more breath. And vinyasa from there. So you rock yourself forward, lift the knees, there's your plank. Exhale to chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. And exhale, downward facing. And we'll come through to sitting.
You can just face the front of your mat. I'm gonna face the camera. So cross your legs somehow. It might be a lotus, it might not. If it is lotus, it's the right leg first, then the left. You're gonna reach behind you for opposite elbows. If you want the full position here, instead of opposite elbows, left hand to the foot that's on your right side. Still the left foot, but it's on the right side. And then the right hand around. This is very advanced. So chances of it working, if you're new to primary, not great. That's one of those 5-year plan poses. So either way, we're gonna fold. Drop the head. And we release the arms and rise up. We'll take the hands to the knees. If you did try lotus and you have any aching at all in your ankles or your knees, just undo it at any point. The knuckles will be on the back of the knees, pointer finger and thumb together, other 3 fingers away. We'll roll the shoulders back so the chest is lifted. We'll bring the chin forward and down, like it's gonna touch the hem of your shirt, the collar of your shirt, and then lift that collar of your shirt up with the chin. That's Jalandhara Bandha. So we're restricting the flow of air. Jalandhara Bandha is the throat lock. We'll draw the belly button toward the spine. That's another one of your energy locks. And we'll lift the pelvic floor up. Yet another energy lock. So those 3. And with the lower 2, that's Mula Bandha and Uddiyana Bandha, with those 2 locks engaged, the low belly is very still while you breathe. You're just going to breathe deeply, and you're going to let your ribs expand in all directions. But there will be no movement in the low belly. There is fullness of breath, but you're controlling where it goes. Try counting how many seconds you are exhaling for. Make your inhale the same as that exhale. Try to increase the duration so that eventually you get up to a 10-second inhale, 10-second exhale. Feel free to stay longer in this position, breathing. When you're ready, just unravel your legs and lay back for Shavasana. If you have a towel, you can use it for covering your eyes. You can put your legs up the wall. Or because we're at home, you might have a couch. If you put your legs up on the couch, you'd be in like a reclining, sitting position, reclining chair. Feels really good in the back. You could also bring your feet to the edge of your mat, bend your knees and drop your knees in toward each other. That's a great position for widening the low back. Turn your palms to face up. And just to the side of the body, maybe 35, 45 degrees out. And as you relax, your shoulders get heavier. Your hands get heavier, and your fingers will start to just naturally curl in. So be conscious of relaxing your hand. They've done so much to serve you in this class. I'm gonna shut up now for a few minutes. Just scan your body and try to relax each piece. Just take a few more breaths. And as you're ready, bring your knees in toward your chest. And gently roll to the right. You can make your right arm a pillow by just extending it out. And you're just basically in a little kind of recovery position. With minimal effort, push yourself to sitting. Keep the eyes closed. Bring the hands to prayer in front of your chest. Take a breath. Bring your thumbs up between your eyebrows at the third eye. Take a breath. Fold forward any amount to seal in your practice. Take a breath in that fold. Namaste. Thanks, you guys. Whoever you are. You could send me a text or an email or leave a comment on the video. I probably know you because otherwise you wouldn't even know the video is out there on the grand old YouTube. See you around. Thanks, you guys.